All right, welcome. We all want to eat healthier, but let's be real for a second. It can feel, well, pretty overwhelming. So in this explainer, we're going to cut right through all that noise. We're breaking down the simple but really powerful rules that can totally transform your relationship with food. You ready? Let's dive in. So here's the game plan for today. First, we're going to rethink the why behind eating in the first place. Then, we'll get to know the essential building blocks our bodies absolutely need. After that, we'll map out a super practical blueprint for your plate, decode some of those common food dangers to watch out for, and finally, and this is the best part, we'll show you how to take control and become the expert of your own health. Okay, first up, let's challenge this idea that food is just fuel. You hear that all the time, right? But it is so much more than that. I mean, what we eat is literally the foundation for everything, not just our physical strength, but our mental clarity and our overall sense of well-being, too. So I want to start by asking you a question, a really simple one. Why do you actually eat? I mean, is it just to stop your stomach from growling? Or is it for energy, for comfort, maybe even to celebrate? Just taking a second to think about that, that's the very first step toward making smarter, more mindful choices about food. And here's why that matters. The right kind of food, it doesn't just fill a void. It gives you this deep, lasting satisfaction. And at the end of the day, eating well isn't about restriction or what you can't have. It's truly the cornerstone of a healthy, vibrant life. Okay, so we've got the why down. Now let's get into the what. It's time to meet the essential building blocks our bodies need, not just to get by, but to really, truly thrive. And that's all about nutrients. So nutrients are basically split into two main teams. First, you've got your macronutrients. Think of these as the fuel and the big building materials, like the lumber for your body's giant construction project. You need a lot of them. Then you have the micronutrients. These guys are more like the spark plugs and the tiny precision tools. You only need them in small amounts, but guess what? Absolutely nothing works right without them. All right, let's meet the big three macronutrients. You've got carbohydrates, that's your body's main source of energy. Then you have lipids, or fats, which are also a source of energy and super important for absorbing certain vitamins. And of course, protein, from things like meat, fish, and beans. This one is absolutely crucial for building and repairing literally every single tissue in your body. Now for those little precision tools we talked about, vitamins. Yeah, we only need them in tiny amounts, but don't let that fool you. They are absolute powerhouses. Let's take vitamin C. We all know it's in oranges, right? But it does way more than just help with a cold. It's critical for repairing your body's tissues and keeping your whole immune system running strong. And the other half of that micro team, minerals. Now, everyone's heard of calcium for strong bones, but check this out, iron. It's essential for making hemoglobin, which is the part of your blood that carries oxygen everywhere. So if you're ever feeling tired or kind of foggy, a lack of iron could totally be the culprit. It directly hits your energy levels and even your ability to focus. All right, so we've met all the key players: carbs, proteins, vitamins, minerals, the whole crew. But the big question is, how do we actually get them onto our plate in the right balance? Well, it's time to get practical. Let's build a simple blueprint for healthy eating. This right here might be one of the simplest and most powerful guides out there, the modern food plate. The rule is so easy to remember. Just picture a line right down the middle of your plate, okay? Fill one entire half with those energy-giving carbs. Then you take the other half and split it between protein for all that building and repair, and a whole bunch of colorful veggies and fruits, which are just packed with those micronutrients we talked about. It's a perfect visual check for every single meal. Okay, now let's zoom out a bit and look at your whole day. For that, the food pyramid is a great guide. The idea is really simple. The big, wide base at the bottom, that's what you should be eating the most of. We're talking carbohydrates, fruits, and veggies. As you go up the pyramid, the sections get smaller, which means, you guessed it, fewer servings. And what's at that tiny little peak? Oils and sugar. The message couldn't be clearer. Eat these sparingly. Now, let's talk about something that's probably one of the most important and honestly most overlooked nutrients of all: water. So, how much should you really be drinking? Well, the simple target for an ordinary person is about 7 to 8 glasses every single day. And why is that number such a big deal? Because water is doing some serious heavy lifting behind the scenes. It's controlling your body temperature, it's flushing out all the waste, and it's keeping your digestion and circulation running smoothly. It's just a critical player in pretty much every single process that keeps you feeling healthy and at your best. All right, so we've covered all the nutritional heroes. Now it's time to meet the villains. This next part is all about decoding those common food dangers that we really need to watch out for to protect our health in the long run. And here they are, the unhealthy trio. Too much oil, too much sugar, and too much salt. Overdoing it with these three is directly linked to a much higher risk of really serious non-communicable diseases. We're talking heart attacks, high blood pressure, diabetes, all the big ones. And to make this crystal clear, let's put a number on it. For sugar, the maximum recommended amount per day is just 6 teaspoons. And get this, that's not just the sugar you spoon into your tea, that includes all the sugar that's already hidden in foods and drinks. And what about salt? Brace yourself, the number is even smaller. The daily maximum is just 1 single teaspoon. Whoa. When you see it like that, it really hits home how incredibly easy it is to go way over that limit without even thinking about it. But it's not just about that trio. There are a few other hidden threats to look out for. Things like artificial coloring and flavors, they can have some harmful long-term effects. And of course, it's absolutely essential that your food is clean and prepared hygienically to avoid getting sick. The takeaway here is simple, really. Just aim for food that's as natural and clean as you can get. Which brings us to our final section. And honestly, it might be the most important one. Because after all is said and done, the real expert on what's best for your body is you. So let's talk about how you can take back control of your plate, starting right now. Here's a super simple checklist you can use the next time you go shopping. Number 1, always check the production and expiry dates. 2, actually read the ingredients list. See what's really in there. 3, look for any quality logos, like the SLS mark. And 4, just use your common sense. Make sure the food looks fresh and isn't damaged. These are such simple steps, but man, they make a huge difference. And hey, let's not forget about the power of tradition. I mean, think about it. Condiments like turmeric and ginger aren't just there for flavor, they have actual medicinal value. And traditional practices like home gardening, even if it's just a few pots on your balcony, give you fresh, clean food and save you money. I mean, what's not to love? It's a total win-win. You know, if you only take one single piece of advice from this entire explainer, please let it be this. Eat homemade food whenever you possibly can. And why is that so important? Because when you're the one cooking, you are in complete control. You control the ingredients, the salt, the sugar, the oil, everything. It is, without a doubt, the most powerful way to make sure you're eating a healthy diet. So I'm going to leave you with one final question to think about. After everything we've talked about today, what is just one small, healthy tradition or habit that you can start today? Maybe it's just drinking that extra glass of water, or maybe it's deciding to cook one more meal at home this week. It could even be planting a little basil plant. Whatever it is, what's your first step going to be?